What's up everyone, welcome back to Miami Miles. My name's Mickey. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why my 997.2 GT3 RS is the single greatest Porsche I've ever owned. Guys, I'm absolutely obsessed with this thing. It does everything that the demand car does, that the 4RS does, but it just makes me want to drive it every single day. It's the only car I dream about when I'm not driving it. And I think that's an important characteristic. I think that a car should give you a little bit of a wet dream, and that's exactly why this car does. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the exterior of the car, the interior of the car. We're gonna go for a drive. I'm gonna take it all the way to Redline to show you the Dundon D4 upgrade, which has transformed the car. I always thought that the car needed a little bit more power with an additional 40 to 50 horsepower to the tire. This thing is transformed. Anyways, guys, let's get right into it. Before I give you guys my driving impressions, this video is brought to you by Faster Media, my production company, the guys who brought you content like this. Content like this. For the very first time, they're offering these services to anyone looking to grow their social presence. Whether you're a business or an individual alike, you want to blow up on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, there's a little link down below. Click on that link, fill out the form, and Faster Media will reach out to you and show you how they can take your content to the next level. Anyways, back to the video. There's no better place to start this review than on a regular road like this. Man, the GT3 RS feels like a modern car. It feels so well put together, and that's a true testament to the engineers at Porsche. It handles the bumps so well. At no point does this car feel rough, which is counterintuitive, right? Because you'd think that this car would feel like a race car, but it just doesn't. It feels like a car you could drive every single day. That's until you give it a little bit of throttle and you hear that Mezger flat six permeate through the cabin. Now, the hardest thing to do in this car is actuate that clutch and that shifter. It requires a fair bit of effort, especially when you have to apply 30 or 40 pounds of force to the clutch underneath your left foot to get it to engage. And then you actuate this shifter, which feels so raw, so mechanical, and literally at 37 miles an hour, 2200 RPM, you're having a good time. But when you want to spice things up a bit on a regular road, give it a couple of downshifts, and that engine comes to life. I can't convey how good this car sounds. I would say all the way to 8,000, it sounds even better than my Dundon Demand 4.5 liter GT3, and it sure as hell sounds better than my GT4 RS. And that, by most accounts, is the best modern day sounding Porsche. This thing is unreal. Let me roll down the windows for you so you can get a listen underneath this overpass. Holy shit! Holy shit! I just woke up 90% of Miami, and I don't feel bad about it because I have been injected with a shot of adrenaline. This car, it sounds so good from a little engine, a little 3.8 liter engine that when it came out, it only produced 450 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. Now, obviously, I've gone to work on this car. We sent it to Zweck, we got the Dundon plenum installed, and we got a tune from Dundon themselves. This car is about 450 wheel horsepower right now. But before we unleash that power, I think we should go stop at somewhere pretty and show you the exterior and the interior of the car. See you in a minute. Back in 2011, when this car came out, the MSRP was $150,000. Think about that. Now, I paid $286,500 for this example. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about the 992 GT3 RS at $350,000 to $400,000, this is a hell of a bargain because those cars trading over sticker is two of these. Two of these. This car is a legend. In 50 years, this will be exponentially more valuable than the 992 GT3 RS. Shit, just look at it. Now, I wanted to make sure I got the launch spec of the car with the gray black, with the red accents. I love how Porsche did the decals on the hood around the side of the car and the little GT3 RS logo on the back. And they topped it off with those red wheels, which I think is what makes this car stand out. This is the only Porsche I've ever had that people sit there, they gawk at it, they take pictures, they want to sit in it. It provides an air of exoticness that the other Porsches just don't. And that's what I love so much about this. It's a experience. It's an experience. Just look at it. It doesn't need a DRS system. It doesn't need huge vents coming out the front to eliminate your trunk. It doesn't need a super wide back. It's just stunning the way it is, and it's timeless today. And I think, again, 50 years from now, this will be the Porsche that everybody will be thinking about. So walk around with me. Let me jump in the car to show you the interior. Ooh, those buckets are snug. Spot of context, way tighter than the buckets in my GT3 RS. Tight like the first time, if you know what I mean. But once you sit in the car, you are brought back to a time when 911s actually used to be small. This car is even smaller than my GT3 RS, and that's a Cayman. This is a 911. I love that about this car, and that was the first impression I got the first time I drove it. But things I love here inside the car, apart from these seats, which I had to have, they were a must, is the analog dash. I still love looking at things in an analog way. I don't like the digital screens in the 992. I love how this car had suede everywhere and all the touch points, and here in the shifter just makes it feel so special. And because the car is turned off, I can show you guys how you actuate the shifter and how it feels. You can hear that click, right? It's kind of like a gated manual, whereas the shifters in my GT3 and in my previous GT4, they didn't have that. This provides a special amount of effort. Now, obviously, the infotainment system is old as the car is approaching 15 years of age. But when you look through that rearview mirror and you see that roll cage, you see the carbon wing, you're reminded that you're in something spectacular. And now, because this car has been modified by Dundon, that means that it's pushing over 450 horsepower to the tire. So let's jump in and go for a drive and show you exactly what 450 to the tire feels like as I rip this Mezger to redline. Oh, and one thing that I hate about the inside, no cup holders. Zero cup holders. I've got nowhere to put my Evian, and it's frustrating as anyways. Let's go for a drive. So let's add a little bit of pace as we merge here onto the highway. I'm going to trigger sport mode, and I'm going to give you guys a little pull to redline. 6,000 RPM, go. There comes the rush of torque. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, this is a machine, ladies and gentlemen. When it came out, this car was quoted at 3.5 seconds, 0 to 60, 11.8 the quarter mile at 120 miles an hour. And I can tell you unequivocally that this is way faster than that, especially with that upgrade. One more time, rev match to third. The way that this flywheel feels so light and it blips the throttle is unreal. Second gear, 7,000, go. Red line. Now at these speeds, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I'm gonna slow down. At these speeds, ladies and gentlemen, the car does feel rear engine. The moment you get on power and the weight shifts to the back, the front of the car feels light, but it's wriggling with feel. I don't even know if that's a word. I guess tingling, I don't know, but every single thing that's going on the road in front of me comes up through the rack to my fingertips. And it makes you feel so connected. The car switches lanes like it's on rails. And you guys saw me drive this car on the track. It was an absolute revelation. Power out. Don't want to upset the balance of the car. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking. The way that you have to master the car to get the most out of it. And once you do, it extracts the most emotion and sensations from you, the driver, the pilot, things that newer generation GT3 RSs just don't do. If you drive a 997.2 RS on a road like this, you're bored as f***. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a boring car on a regular road, but this thing, you downshift. Ooh! Oh! It just brings a huge smile to your face. And at these speeds, honestly, you can feel the downforce working because you have confidence to exploit it. And that's something that to me is very important. You have to feel confident in the car that you're driving. You have to feel like you can beat the shit out of it to enjoy it. Now at this juncture, everything I've talked about the car is glowing. If I have one complaint, it's the fact that the exhaust is maybe a little bit too loud. It's for those that are unhinged, those that are possessed by a diabolical demon. People like me like that exhaust. I'm not sure anyone else would. But listen to this with the windows down. I don't know if the camera will pick this up. I'm gonna keep it at 7 and then hit it on this straight. And god damn, those gyro disc rotors bring you back to reasonable speeds really quick. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, from top to bottom, everything about this car is special. Everything about this car is legendary. This is something that will be spoken about 500 or 1,000 years from now. And that's why I think every collector should have one in their garage. If you need to stretch a little bit to afford it, buy it now before they're unreachable, because I do believe these cars will be $500,000 or $600,000. And the long story short of this whole crazy drive is the fact that I wouldn't mind selling my Demand, selling my 4RS, and keeping just this as my only Porsche because it's that special. Anyways, guys, that's the end.